Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules. Welcome, Tom Schwartz, to the second episode of the Jackson Brittany Take Kentucky edition of Pump Rules Podcast.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, well, thanks. I know it's a long commute, so we appreciate the travels.
I appreciate that.
So this episode was especially perfect to have you on because you had a FaceTime call.
Yeah, I did.
How thankful were you when you were talking to him that you weren't the one on a farm?
I don't know what that was.
Well, that was your excitement. Yeah,
I love it in spurts, in small doses. I love excursions, and I love sabbaticals. I like getting lost in the wilderness for like weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. I love Mother Nature. I love being surrounded by the great wilderness. That being said, I think it depends on where I'm at. Actually, I don't know a lot about Kentucky, but I don't know. I'm charmed by the South, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I am. Like we were talking earlier, I do love Southern accents. I really do. I can't do much of one. But I don't know. Everything
don't be shy. You got a nice one there, Tommy.
I like their sayings and like their little colloquialisms and stuff. All like I was looking at a few as we were talking earlier. It's like she's pretty as a I've heard Brittany say these. She's pretty as a peach. Or like she was madder than a wet hand. I like that one.
The sayings are cute, and it's funny, though, there's that fine line between the charm of a Southern accent and if you're in the wrong situation, the terror.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they're quaint and they're sweet until they're not, until it's like Deliverance.
Yeah, and it's basically the same delivery. It's just it's turned a little bit. It's like dialed in a little bit to the left.
Yeah, and they're asking you to squeal like a pig, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to say that in a charming way, really. No, I don't think so. Even an English accent wouldn't help. When I was in Kentucky, I drove with my friend over to New Orleans, and we ran out of gas halfway through, and we were in rural Mississippi.
Oh man,
it was.
I've been through those parts.
It's a little freaky because it's so sparse, right?
Yeah, it really is, and it's like a time warp too. No offense, but it is.
It is. It really is.
I have no desire to ever go back in any capacity.
If you want to run out of gas, don't do it around there. It turned out fine. We had to call the police, and then they sent an officer out because it was like 11 o'clock in a very rural area, so therefore no one's stopping, and then you don't really want anyone to stop either.
Yeah.
One person did stop while we knew the cop was about to show up, and they were like, y'all okay? And we were like, yeah, we're fine because the cop's coming. But when the cop arrived, he fully frisked my friend, the driver, and said, now you boys ever been in any trouble? And right then I got real freaked out.
Holy shit, yeah.
It was all fine, but they have to do that if you're going to go in the car, I guess, because you got to take them to go get a gas can.
Yeah.
And they just want to make sure there's no weapons or anything like that.
Craig, we've watched too many movies growing up.
We have watched way too many movies. But I always think about that. Does it help or does it hurt? I think it helps.
I think it helps, yeah.
Yeah, because you got to be wary of just like strange areas in general.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about the South. Overall, for the most part, I'm charmed by it.
Yeah.
And like Southern hospitality is a thing, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I've also met, listen, there's assholes everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Every part of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was in Louisville, which is apparently how you're supposed to pronounce it. I said Louisville to Brittany and Zach, and they were very offended. No, they made sure to correct me that it's like Louisville.
I like that.
Yeah, because I think
it's got more swagger that way.
It does have more swagger, and definitely. If you said Louisville, it'd be all up in arms. But that's a really cool area, and I think that's about an hour away from Winchester, which is where the farm compound is.
Wait, so you got a little taste?
A little taste, although I was in Louisville for about a week. But I was mostly in a studio compound. I didn't see a lot of the town.
Yeah.
I saw one or two bars, nightclubs, etc., and then back at the studio. So
the word compound, it kind of has, it's kind of ominous, isn't it?
It really is,
especially
ominous.
In that part.
Absolutely, in that area. Even like, for instance, in Cape Cod, there's like the Kennedy compound.
Yeah.
That's also kind of ominous because you might have a bit of an accident or something there.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to a compound, do you?
Yeah, no. It has like religious, culty undertones, maybe overtones. I don't know.
I think over and undertones. Yeah. It's sinister in general.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what would be a good compound. I can't even think of one. Well, studio compound sounds okay.
How about like a cupcake compound?
That's not bad. That's not bad. But and speaking of compounds, what do you think of this idea of that? You're maybe going to see your in-laws or the prospective in-laws for the second or third time, maybe. And it's so their territory because not only is it their house, it's a compound with multiple houses with nothing but family.
Yeah.
And then you're not allowed to drink.
Yeah, no,
right?
my social lubricant. I would have a flask in my back pocket for sure.
You need to have something, even if you don't access it or take any.
Yeah.
You have to know that at some point you could just sort of like distance yourself a bit from reality with a drink or like a little Xanax or something.
I wouldn't actually need to consume it even. I just would need to know it's there.
Exactly. You need the security that you could just take a little minor vacation from reality.
Yep. As I was watching, and as Jax was out there, we chatted a lot, but I was putting myself in his shoes. Excuse me,
his fancy.
I put myself in his shoes.
His fancy America boots.
Jax is. And listen, Jax is a city slicker through and through.
Yeah.
As far as I know, and just when I heard this, when I heard the the concept for the show and the fact that he's going to be going out there and spending some time with Brittany's family in the South in Kentucky, I was like, I'm sold. I'm so in. This is like the reality TV version of Son-in-Law with, Pauly.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, he's doing the real life Pauly Shore thing now.
Yeah, he really is. And Jax is perfect for it.
He said that at one point he'd rather shovel shit than have to muddle a drink at Sir. And my question is, does a vodka cranberry really need muddling? Because that's all he makes, right?
Touche.
I'm sorry, he does shots of tequila and Fireball as well.
Yeah, he stopped muddling years ago. He really did.
And thank God for that.
He stood his ground. I appreciate that,
Yeah.
He's got integrity.
So at the top of the episode, it's the sort of aftermath from the bonfire. We see the second part of the bonfire, and then they're having drinks, and then
it looked fun.
Yeah, the adults go away,
and
then the drinking is out in the open, and they hit it hard.
Yeah,
and
Jax had some nice dance. I know those dance moves well. When he was in the bed of that truck,
yeah,
that's one of his signature moves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little hip thrust, little 1-step, 2-step combo.
Yeah, it's a little like Tom Jones kind of.
Yeah,
he's a little Vegas. Jax is very Vegas in many ways.
Maybe a bootleg Tom Jones.
A bootleg Tom Jones,
or
yeah.
Like
sort of a Chippendales dancer kind of thing. like a Chippendales dancer that hasn't done the moves in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like the chant that the ladies had, which was, "Here's the snakes and condoms, 2 things we don't fuck with"?
I know that chant well because Brittany does it on a regular basis.
Really?
Yeah. And I got to say, I've heard it as many times as I've heard it, it still has maintained all of its charm and its luster.
Yeah, that doesn't really get old. It's not like, oh, that shit again.
It's like perfectly Brittany.
Yeah.
Because I know she's kind of doing it tongue in cheek. And she's just having a go. Like, she I don't know.
She loves fun.
It just when she says it, it's so much. Like if I said it, how's it go again? Here's the
snakes and condoms. 2 things we don't fuck with.
Like if I said it in my slightly northern Midwestern accent, it just loses all of its charm.
I think also if guys did it, I think it would definitely not be as charming as the ladies say. Yeah.
Here's to snakes and condoms. 2 things we don't fuck with. That was like a subtle. I don't want to go full Canadian. I have a tendency to go over the top, like Bobby's World style. You know what I'm saying?
Here's to snakes and condoms. Well, that's more that's like fake Minnesota, right?
That's like
Fargo.
In the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis, accents are super subtle.
Oh, okay.
They're there, like especially on words like boat, taking the boat out.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That is a little Canadian, actually.
It's like a very subtle Canadian accent almost. Yeah. We don't say a. There's no A's.
A lot of people don't say A. Some people do say. My parents are Canadian, and I've been there many, many times. So the sort of traditional Mackenzie Brothers Canadian accent is it's kind of like the ramped up Cockney accent that people will do. But maybe like a British, like, "Here's the snakes and condoms, 2 things I don't fuck with."
I like that. See,
we'll have to get James to say it.
That would encourage me to keep drinking. I like that. That one got me rowdy.
Well,
great toast.
Thanks. We were moving in the right direction. Apparently, like Jax is moving in the right direction towards the sort of PR speak that he does to the parents.
Yeah, he's good at that. He's the master of it, telling people what they want to hear. But I mean, I don't know, because I just don't know with Jax. I can't even weigh in on that.
No, it's an
like,
unanswerable question, really.
Well, I think he flip-flops, and I think he goes back and forth. One day he really wants that, truly.
Yeah.
And then, a week later, he's like complete 180, and he's just off it, and he's moving in a completely different direction.
And shocked that you'd mention it to him. Like, why would you even say that to me?
He's bipolar in regards to commitment.
Listen, we're all moms here, so it's okay. I like the fake music, and we talked about it in the previous episode with Jessica, but Cowboy Ride is the song that's in between nighttime activities, and right before Mamaw has the Inquisition with them.
Mamaw, she's so great.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah. She's the real deal. She's so authentic.
Yeah.
I was really charmed by her.
And Jack's...
The whole family, really.
Yeah, no, they're very charming. And we've all met Sherry and Tiffany.
Yeah. I had a great time with them out here.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like how hungover Brittany obviously is. When she's like, her voice is all gone. She's like, we just got to go help and work on the farm because I feel real bad.
She was hurting. I could tell. I know hungover Brit, and that was her.
Hungover Jax isn't as obvious. I mean, maybe that's not like a super hungover Jax, but
yeah, he's more subtle.
I think he just gets quiet, right?
He does. Yeah. How is any? He orders a Coke and a bagel,
or Shake Shack.
Yeah. He loves Coke and a bagel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a solid set you up. What's your favorite hangover meal that will get you through?
Interesting, Craig. I'm happy you asked me that. I like a breakfast sandwich. I'm not big on pork, but when I'm hungover, I'll eat a nice bacon breakfast sandwich, slathered in hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
And an Advil. I like coconut fresh. I like the real deal while it's still in the shell and the husk. Mm-hmm. So I like a sweet, young, fresh coconut. That's what they call them.
Yeah, I know. I know. You're not just being lascivious.
Yeah. Thank you.
A guy on the street yesterday on the sidewalk was trying to sell some, like, that's the last place I would buy one on the side of the road. He just had one in each hand, gesturing towards the cars.
Oh, not even like a cooler or anything?
No, just they're in his hand, and he was on the side of the road, and I was like, that's the last place I would want to buy a coconut.
Yeah, I mean... Man, maybe if I was desperate, but I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe if you just woke up and you were in your car, and then you had to drive off, you were parked side of the road, that might. But I still think that would be a bad idea.
Well, can I ask you this? Did he have pants on?
He did have pants on. Okay. They looked a little rumpled.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was picturing him nude. And,
well, that would fit a guy with like some torn up, maybe boxers that are not covering everything. Where do you get your coconut water from, or the water? What are you talking about? Is your sweet, young, fresh?
Anywhere,
innocent coconut. Where do you get that?
Any of these Thai places around here, any place they serve pho. I know it's not pho.
It's pho. It is. I thought it was pho. I didn't know that.
It's pho.
Okay.
Yeah. I got schooled by somebody who's a big enthusiast.
It's like Louisville.
I wonder if they have pho in Louisville.
I bet they do.
I bet you they do.
They must. Actually, the food in Louisville is quite good.
They got killed. What's in terms of cuisine? What's Kentucky known for? Barbecue.
I think barbecue is the main thing, and
whiskey,
bourbon. Yeah, they have a lot of distilleries down there.
Johnny
Woodford
Depp.
Reserve, I believe.
Yeah,
that's right.
I know Kentucky has a rich history. I just don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I just don't know the rich history. So I know it has one, yet I haven't dug in.
Brittany's like the ambassador of Kentucky for me, and if it's anything like Brittany, then it's great.
See,
and all of her friends have been super cool. Just really fun to hang out with, and
everyone's super polite there.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed. Say you bump into Brittany in the kitchen, and you didn't see her, and she's like, "Oh, you're fine."
Yeah.
And when
fine.
that's a big saying down there. I was at like the Target and almost walked into someone coming around the corner of an aisle. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and they're like, "You're fine." And I was like, "Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
This is the polite vibe down here."
You're fine. Yeah. I remember when I went to Florida State University, and it's still pretty southern down there too. You know?
Yeah.
And that was where I got introduced to fixin'. You fixin' to go out tonight?
Oh yeah.
I'm fixing to drink some booze tonight. I'm fixing to get me a piece of ass tonight.
I do love the fixin'. That's great.
I mean, that's a terrible southern accent. It's over the top a little bit, but it's like people do say fixin' in the South.
Oh, sure.
100%. And they really do love sweet tea. I noticed
that's right.
At Applebee's.
Yeah, sweet tea is a major thing.
Man, I used to be so just head over heels in love with sweet tea.
Oh, really?
I was smitten when I first tried it, but now I'm off and I'm on the unsweetened.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
only
too
drink unsweetened.
Cloying. It's like it's like now it tastes like pure sugar.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I can't deal with sweet tea. I tried it one time, but it was a McDonald's sweet tea when I was down south. And I still would like to try it, maybe. But the thing with that, it's like when Pepsi comes out with new flavors.
Yeah.
I want to try it, but I generally will take a sip and go, "Oh, okay," and then pour it out. So in New Orleans, they had extra sweet tea for sale, which was a pure leaf tea, actually, which I haven't seen in these parts.
Oh my god!
Yeah, extra sweet tea. Extra sweet tea. Yeah,
that's hardcore.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
you're just asking for dental problems and diabetes.
They have a thing called counting. I was reading about this book and what was it called? God dang it! But there's this thing called Mountain Dew Mouth. A Mountain Dew mouth. You ever heard of that?
Is it something to do with like rotting teeth?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, I guess there was an epidemic down there for a while.
Really?
I mean, these are broad generalizations, and I apologize to anyone I'm offending because I know there's this. I just was reading about this thing. Like, I guess that's where it originated in Kentucky.
Wow.
It was called Mountain Dew mouth. And it was just a result of kids drinking too much soda. I'm sure it's almost we have that problem all over the world.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Definitely all over our country, America. But
it's just like somewhere in the Midwest, there's like a massive meth problem, right? Like that's the kind of association that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now a special message about Pump Rules Podcast Patreon page.
Pump Rules Podcast now has a Patreon, and it's live. But the pledges and rewards don't kick in until November, when the main event of Vanderpump Rules Season 6 airs, and we're back to our usual overabundance of material. Since Jack's and Brittany Take Kentucky is a limited-run half-hour series, there simply isn't enough stuff to talk about to justify a legitimate bonus episode in addition to the regular episodes. For instance, this episode that you're listening to is under 40 minutes long, which is never the case with a standard episode during the regular season. But this season of Vanderpump Rules, there's going to be more than enough to talk about, and usually I end up cutting at least an hour from the discussions that we have for the podcast. So, if you want to hear what that bonus content is, go to our Patreon page, check out the options, and see which one works for you. Again, that's patreon.com/pumprules. Thanks for your continued support, and we look forward to your money. Mama does the full Inquisition, and then Brittany cops to her friend sneaking the booze in, and she's like, well, I will just never let it happen again. And obviously Brittany is a master of sneaking booze under the farm, right?
Yeah,
there's no way that's not happened before.
She's probably she's been smuggling for years.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, she's like a junior league bootlegger.
Yeah,
because they're getting that shit in there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I like when she was like, you're all drunk, I gotta catch up.
Yeah. Brittany's fun to drink with.
She's a lot of fun. Yeah, she's so much fun. When she was on the podcast, she was enthusiastically drinking, and we were very into it.
She'll go toe to toe
with anyone. Yeah,
and I love drinking, but Brittany will go toe to toe, shot for shot.
And she loves shots too.
Yeah, she does.
So anyway, they're both hungover, but they're gonna make it happen. And Jax gets his face fully in the hay. Now you're allergic to hay, right?
Oh my god, I had a reaction just looking at that. I'm not deathly allergic by any means, but I mean it'll definitely put a damper on my day. I wish I had a cooler Southern saying for that, but I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, you'd be fixing to die, maybe.
Yeah. It's a little dramatic, but I like it.
A little dramatic, but that's all right. That's all right. When you talk about allergies.
Severe allergy to hay. It's just watching Jax get his face all up in there and his hands. That's a nightmare for me.
He did come up with a handy solution, though, like getting in the car and driving around.
Yeah.
He does seem to have a knack for trying to find shortcuts.
Yeah, he's good at that. And Jax, he has his moments. You might underestimate him, but he can be pretty savvy sometimes.
And industrious when the moment calls for it.
Yes.
Jax says very seriously, it won't happen again. When Jax says something won't happen again, it generally guarantees you it will happen again, right?
Yeah.
Like if he said nothing, there's a good chance that maybe it wouldn't happen again. But
yes.
And I also like what Mama doesn't know won't hurt her. But, of course, Mama's going to know everything. So it's going to hurt her.
Yeah.
They're talking about not having booze on there because her late husband, did not like that.
Yeah.
And so they're just violating it. But, again, it shows how sweet and understanding Mama is. Sherry says in the first episode, okay, now the two rules are no drinking and no driving. So I think they know that the kids are going to sneak some booze, because if there wasn't any booze, what would the problem be with anyone driving?
Yeah.
And the white truck looks like Jax's old truck, but of course, did they drive that down there? Or
his old GMC, I missed that old thing.
Yeah.
I liked his old truck. A lot of good times in that bad boy. Oh, my God.
Did you ever pour a drink in that truck?
Listen, I've had a few cocktails in the passenger seat.
Oh, well, of course, not driving.
No,
never, no.
And in the bed too.
In the bed, of course. I mean, all the magic happens in the bed.
Oh man, I'm getting nostalgia thinking about that thing.
You're getting choked up.
Yeah,
you're fixing to cry.
Yeah, something about Jackson that truck just made sense. I don't know what it was. It just fit him. I liked him in the truck.
In the first episode, he wore his overalls with one of the straps down, and he said that something had to be fashion forward.
Yeah.
Now, is that fashion forward?
Yeah. I don't know what that was. It was kind of like provocative, yeah.
A little provocative.
Yeah.
And the America cowboy boots. Now, do you know where he got those?
I don't know, but it all made sense.
Yeah. It all fits the whole picture.
Aesthetically, it's a good look for Jax.
That's true. And also, he loves his plaids, and I think the plaids work well down there.
He really does.
You know, he was wearing the same plaid shirt in the first episode that he was wearing at the screening party at Flaming Saddles.
No.
Yes, he was. He was wearing the exact same shirt. And also...
I know which one you're talking about. It's his favorite plaid shirt.
Not the pink and blue one. That used to be his
blue,
favorite. Yeah, exactly.
The blue and whitish.
Yes, yeah. Jax is writing some pretty hot songs. It was like, Farmer Jax is coming.
Oh, my God. I was humming that.
Yeah, it's catchy. I mean, I'd like an EP of his tracks from this.
Farmer Jax is on his way. Yeah. Farmer Jax is here to stay. I think that's how it went. Something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty close. And then Brittany's really good with coming up with chants.
Yeah, she is.
I think the two of them could make a spin-off little merchandise thing.
I like that.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah. I would go see them perform live.
I would definitely go down to the Roxy to see that.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Sir Garden.
Yeah, and they can ham it up a little bit. I'd like to see him in his overalls with one,
For his country number.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the one strap hanging.
Exactly, dangling on his shoulder with his cowboy hat. Yeah, his boots.
His plaid.
Yep.
The next fake song is We're Not in L.A. Anymore. I can't remember how they go because they go by so quickly. But then we meet Tiffany. Jax asks the really comfortable question of whether or not it was tough to have kids out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Which is, how do you really answer that? Because what's the answer? You can't say yes or no.
Yeah. I mean, in the previews, he just says that out of context. It's still probably pretty inappropriate to ask. But, when I saw it in the scene, he referenced the fact that they had a very religious, somewhat strict upbringing.
Sure.
So it might, I see what he was getting at.
It makes a little more sense with that.
Yeah. I thought it was just out of left field.
Just out of the blue, they're talking about something like...
So, yeah. Anyway, maybe the non sequitur.
But it does lead to hearing, how the family comes together, even though that might be opposed to their ideals and beliefs. The chores are no joke. There just seems to be an endless amount of chores.
Yeah, it's like as I'm sitting on the couch, I'm like, it's so easy for me to romanticize being on a farm because there's a lot of great aspects. I've been on some farms. Sure. I love farm animals. I just love animals in general.
Right.
I love them, but it's a lot of upkeep and a lot of work.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, we don't have a farm, but we have a barn.
Yeah.
And we had horses. We have about 10 dogs.
That's right.
And
how many cats? By the way,
there's 3 outdoor cats that just. My dad sort of adopted. They used to be at his car lot, and they don't like to come inside. Otherwise, we'd take them in. But then there's
that's strange, isn't it? The outdoor cats. You keep feeling like you want to be like, oh, come in, I'll help you, I'll rescue you, but they don't want it.
Yeah, well, there's 2 indoor cats, 3 out. So we pretty much do have a farm.
You have like a junior farm, an unofficial farm. Yeah,
and there's talks about getting a pig, and my dad wanted a llama for. But anyways, the point is, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and it's expensive. Holy shit,
it must be. Yeah, the feed and all that.
Yeah, no, just the horses, the dogs, the vet bills. It's constant.
Oh my God, that's right.
Grooming, flea medicine, like for 10 dogs.
10 dogs is a lot.
It adds up.
It really does.
I have 2 dogs, and sometimes there's weeks where I'm like, holy shite.
Yeah,
it's pricey. There's always new shots they need, boosters.
Plus, the more dogs, the more likelihood of some kind of illness or something, right?
Yes, that's a thing. Yeah.
Do you think that the way that people handle their pets is an indicator of how they'll be as a parent? Because Brittany mentions that he's so cute with Kingsley and everything, but so you think it is?
Well, generally speaking, yes, and within reason.
Yes.
Within reason.
Right. That's. I think if someone's like really cruel to an animal, then they should definitely never
ever.
Yeah,
that's a massive red flag.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
And if there's anybody out there who is cruel to animals, I'm gonna come beat your ass.
That's right. Yeah. Send us your name so we can put you on the list.
Yeah.
And Tom's gonna come pay a visit.
I always said I want to be like the Dexter but for animals. Well, not just dogs.
Any animal.
Any animals or people who can't defend. Well, I'm gonna focus on animals. That's gonna be my specialty.
I think focus on animals first, and then after a year or so, when you have your groove down and you know just how to dispose of the bodies and be untraceable, then move on to the people who torture or are cruel to people who can't defend themselves. There you go. Yeah.
Right.
You look at it as like an out of town tryout. Like you're getting to play together in Connecticut, and this is your Broadway run afterwards.
Yeah, I like that.
And then when Jax is playing catch with the kids, he says, "This is your highlight reel," which is a very aware of the setup kind of thing. I was actually surprised they left that in.
It was funny.
It was really funny. And then that's around the time when he FaceTimes you, which we talked about.
Yeah, I was just checking on the old guy, making sure he wasn't losing his mind.
The old fella who does not like to be teased about being 40 because he's only 38. It's a wild difference.
We round up here in L.A. No, we round down.
Oh, yeah. In L.A., it's very round down.
Yeah, we round down. But we do like to poke fun at old Jax.
Well, because he always gets so uptight. I'm not 40. I'm not 40. Many times, Blythe and I had said, happy 50th. And he's like, I'm not 50. And we're like, I know.
Yep. Pretty soon I'll be on the wrong side of 35, too. Oh, man.
They're going to Applebee's, and you dig Applebee's.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, one of my first loves was Applebee's mozzarella sticks.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the chicken fingers?
Forget about it.
When you go there now, when was the last
dirty.
time that you've been to an Applebee's?
Probably about 2 years. There's no Applebee. You know, we live in L.A. There's no really chain restaurants around here, aside from fast food chain restaurants.
Sure, like In-N-Out.
Yeah, but we don't have Applebee's. We don't have Chili's. We don't have Outback.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those since I've been here, I think.
We have world-class cuisine here. We really do, but it's funny. I grew up with all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, in moderation, but I do get nostalgic. I miss it sometimes.
You know, Applebee's is shutting down a lot of locations.
Yeah. I know the one back in Amelia Island just closed down. So pour one out for Applebee's in Amelia
Pour
Island.
out what were their cocktails? They always have those ridiculous cocktail menus.
Mudslides? No, that's TGI Fridays.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Fridays had that. And then the servers had to wear flair.
I worked at TGI Fridays.
You did?
That was my first job. I was a busboy there.
Wow. Did you have to wear flair?
I sure did. I forgot what the minimum requirement was. You know, they weren't real sticklers on it, but I had to wear flair.
You had to wear some. You had to look like you were at least trying.
Yeah, I still remember the birthday song. You want to hear it?
Yeah, please.
Happy birthday from the Fridays crew. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey. It's funny. I was at Chili's the other day. Sorry for this tangent. And they're still using that, like Chili's, Applebee's. I think it's kind of interchangeable. They all kind of use similar birthday songs.
I think they all had to make those up because the happy birthday song is under copyright, so they couldn't just do was that's right, you're right, was under copyright.
Michael Jackson, whose birthday it is today, well, we won't say that in case you post
well, no, that's okay, we can do that. We're taping this on the day of Michael Jackson's birthday. And he had, supposedly he had the copyright for that for a long time. Right. And then the other story is that Paul McCartney held the copyright for it.
Yeah.
Let's look at a couple of the Applebee's drink options. There's a lot of flavored lemonades. Oh, these are just the refreshments. That's bogus. I don't really need to see that. You know,
they've
cocktails.
They've updated their menu and they've gotten hip with it and
gotten up with the times.
But they still have a lot of the classics.
Oh, here we go. Irish peach sour, which I'd never heard of before. And you're in the bar business. Have you ever heard of that before?
That sounds like Wicked Happen. I need a Tums just thinking about that.
Yeah, it looks pretty gnarly. And actually, though, it's only 210 calories, which that's not what I would expect from a Irish peach sour. It's Jameson peach and a homemade lemon sour. Now, the peach must be peach schnapps, right? Because it just says peach.
Peach schnapps, wow. Oh, man.
That's a rough ride. Schnapps in general, if you're fucking around with schnapps, you're either like an end-stage alcoholic, because years ago, I remember I worked a side job at a liquor store, and there was a bunch of guys who would come in and buy like the peppermint schnapps. There was another mint schnapps. I wish I could remember what it was. It's like, you know, when you are getting Velements or something like that, and there's like a bunch of mint options, and one's kind of funny and it has like a name to it. You're like, oh, is that a real mint? There was one of those, and they would buy that. They would buy the pint size or the half pint, and some of them would come in multiple times a day to get more half pints, which means that they're burning through it, but also not doing the thing where they're like, okay, I'm alcoholic, I'll just get a lot at once. Yeah. They're pretending that they can still manage it.
Yes, that's interesting, and I mean, it's sad, but I completely get that. Wow, mint schnapps. Oh my God,
that's a rough one, right?
Either you're late stage alcoholism or you're in high school.
That's true.
Middle school.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
or you can like fuck around with a Goldschlager or something like that.
Yeah.
But
when you're young, you just drink whatever you can get your dirty little hands.
That's
on.
right. Yeah, and especially if something's sweet, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and then that's really a rotten hangover. Yeah. Well, the Applebee's Bahama Mama, and it says available mucho. I don't know what that means. Is it like a jumbo?
Yeah.
Available mucho. Let's check this out.
Mucho.
It must be, because
that sounds like something Chili's would put on their menu.
Yeah, available mucho.
Yeah.
Now it says 240/270 calories, so it must be the mucho that is 270 calories.
Are they just trying to be quirky or like
they must.
cheeky?
Let me see what it says.
Mucho.
I don't know. It consists of Malibu coconut, creme de banana liqueur, pineapple, and orange juice.
Yeah.
That's a headache.
That sounds like a nightmare.
That does sound like a nightmare. It sounds like you get real stupid drunk on that too.
Yeah.
So there's a Blue Hawaiian, which is about 210 calories, and that's pretty standard, right? What's that? Wait, is that coconut rum? Let's look.
It probably has blue curacao. And,
definitely blue curacao, which is one of my favorite ingredients to put in a cocktail. For like, for instance, my dance night Videodrome discotheque. Like, there's a drink menu, and I like having drinks that I can put a blue liqueur in because it's fun. It's very disco.
Yeah. I mean, visually it's appealing, but it's, on your body, it wreaks havoc.
Can it? Because blue curacao is kind of a light liqueur. If you just put a splash in with like a club soda and a vodka, In addition to the regular Blue Hawaiian, there's a Blue Hawaiian Long Island iced tea - Mucho, which is 330 calories, which I'm starting to gauge the alcohol content now based on the calorie count.
It's like a meal.
That is like a meal.
I mean, a mini meal.
Like 3 of those.
You drink 3 of those bad boys, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
And then there's just one bourbon and berries, which has some fruit juice in it. Mango Summer Squeeze. And then the Mango Summer Squeeze Mucho, which is, now I'm getting interested in that. That will say...
Are we going down the rabbit hole?
Well, we are, because I'm so fascinated now, and hopefully the listeners are interested.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. It's my fault. But there's a Fireball Whiskey Lemonade, but my question is, if something is available Mucho, why are there 2 separate entries for some of the other drinks that are... This is the regular, and this is Mucho. It's strange.
Listen, these are the questions.
These are the questions. And the last thing I'll talk about is the Summer Squeeze. There's a Summer Squeeze, and then after that, there is a top shelf Long Island iced tea. Mucho, add 50 calories. So, yeah. Do you like a Long Island iced tea?
I can get down with a Long Island iced tea.
When you're really young, too, at a bar, that's like the Super Saver value meal.
Oh, my God. Yes.
You can only squeeze a couple in.
I remember drinking like $5 Long Island iced teas. Oof. Maybe it was less in Florida State.
That means it was all well liquor.
Yeah, you have like 3 of those, you're well on your way to blacking out.
Oh, yeah, you're fully fucked up.
Yeah.
It's also a rotten hangover.
Yeah. Oh, God.
As people say not to mix, that's all that thing is. It's every clear liquor.
Yeah.
One of the Videodrome drinks is a Long Island iced tea, but instead of the Coca-Cola for color, you add blue curacao. So it's even...
Okay. And I'll give it a whirl. When I come see your set, I'll give it a whirl.
Fantastic. They were wildly popular, actually. I would even list them under the... I think one was called a Blackout. And people... There was one drink called Blackout, and in terms of the ingredients underneath, it just had no information available.
Yeah.
And it was really popular. People really like to do the Russian roulette.
I like that.
If you don't know what it is, I like the adventurous spirit in the people that went for that one. So now we're back to the show.
I want to know more about the culture in Kentucky and the history. Yeah. I'm going to do a little Wikipedia action. Maybe I'll just have a drink with Britt.
Do both. Both. And quiz her on some of the things.
Yeah. It's great watching Jax flounder, though. He's doing all right so far, but I feel like I don't know what happens. We didn't talk a lot about what happened in his time he spent in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling he's going to lose his mind, and it seems like it might go a little darker than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be more just like lighthearted and quirky,
fluffy.
But fluffy. But
it looks like it's about to turn.
I didn't anticipate that, to be honest. So that caught me off guard.
When he starts talking to the dad about Brittany losing that Brittany spark, and that takes some balls. First of all, to say that to a parent about their kid.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he meant well when he said it, but it didn't probably come off.
I don't think it landed too well.
Yeah. I think,
we see in the previews too that he's talking to the best friends, the mom that Brittany's lost the spark. So he's doing a whole campaign. He's doing a full campaign. And I don't think anyone receives it well. Like, I can't imagine someone going, you know what, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hear that he was like, oh, she's overeating and depressed. I didn't hear it at first. And I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah. I didn't know what to think about that.
And this is like a day or two after he was showing Mama and Sherry the design for the ring that he wants to give, which could be a stock photo.
Yeah.
Right? Jessica last week mentioned that. Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
If someone reverse Google searched it.
Yeah, I bet they could. Yeah.
I wonder,
He said he has a ring designer, and I'm wondering if it's Kyle Chan.
I don't know.
If there is a ring designer.
Jax don't talk about stuff like this.
No, I know, and I'm not trying to get the answer.
I'm just saying we keep it pretty light and fluffy. We talk about, what kind of chips we ate earlier.
Yeah.
And, whether or not we want to grab a drink later. And that's about it, really.
And now a reading from Ask Stassi.
Hey Stassi, what's your secret to day drinking? I just turned 21 in June. Every time I attempt to day drink at parties or just with friends, I just get super tired and boring. Like, I'll literally go take a nap. how do I stay awake and fun? Do I do Red Bull? I usually don't get sleepy at night. Is it just the sun? Help! Yours, Callie. Dear Callie, first of all, happy birthday. Just so you know, my advice on this topic is bad advice. But you asked, so here we go. You know no-dos? Like the caffeine pills that Jesse Spano freaked out on during Saved by the Bell? Anyway, you can get them at any drugstore, and they will totally give you energy to hang during the day. The alternative is having a billion shots of espresso, but that kind of rips my stomach apart, so if I were you and I knew I'd be day drinking, I would take like half a caffeine pill before. And yes, you only need a half. Successful day drinking also depends on what you're drinking. Here's a tip. Don't drink wine during the day because it makes you fall asleep no matter what. So, what should you drink then? Truthfully, I go through phases of favorite day drinks. These phases have included Bloody Marys, margaritas, beer, but if you want to stay responsible when drinking during the day, I'd say choose any tequila-based cocktail, because tequila won't make you sleepy. Shaking my head. It's terrible advice. I'm sorry. Have fun, Callie. XX Stassi.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you, Craig.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we had a nice little steak dinner, and it was romantic. We had to we're going to go on a nice 1 year anniversary getaway.
That's
but
nice.
we had to postpone it because there's just a lot of stuff going on right now.
Sure, yeah.
But we'll get to it.
Yeah.
It's almost in the books. We're not going to just let it, fade
Slide away. No,
No,
definitely not.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate
you're
that.
quite
We made
welcome.
it. Contrary
Yeah.
to what you may have heard in
That's
some
right.
popular gossip tablets.
Some
No.
garbage papers that
Yeah.
they really went wild off of one tweet from Jackson, which was like a half
He
joke.
was
and-
it was a full joke. He just was kind of trolling the fans a little bit, and
Yeah.
then maybe they put that together with the fact that I hadn't posted a picture of me and Katie for a long time together, and apparently people really read into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I could see where they're coming from. Maybe they extrapolated a little bit, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's happening?"
It is kind of amazing though how like that can spread into this whole thing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I was getting all these alerts.
Yeah.
Like, are they really together? And the funniest thing is seeing like the Z grade papers that are then trying to run that story well after the other
Yeah.
questionable
Yeah.
news sources have gotten rid of it already.
Yeah. No, we're good. We made it. Stronger than ever. 1 year in. Woo.
Did you guys do the thing where you have the wedding cake frozen and you defrost it and have a slice of it?
No, we didn't do that because, just from a practical standpoint, we were way up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could have had it frozen then shipped down.
Oh, I thought you still had it in the freezer. That's why I didn't know.
No, we didn't. No.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. Plus, when we left, we were just so incredibly hungover and exhausted.
Yeah.
We didn't even think of it.
I think Stassi thinks that you did that.
Oh, really?
I think so because I remember talking to Stassi about the cake.
Yeah.
And she said something about that. So I think she's under the impression that that's going to happen.
You just sparked a memory. I was with Stassi and a few other people last night, and she was drinking, of all things, a mint schnapps, or maybe it was mint vodka. But anyways, it was disgusting. It tasted like mouthwash. Sorry, that's not interesting, but it just.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that I saw her on first off, the other night they did this endless FaceTime live thing,
Yeah.
and I was just blitzing through it, and I found a funny still of her kissing her clown doll.
Yeah.
But they were just like singing along to Disney songs, like
Yeah.
Moana and all that.
Oh God.
How many times have you heard that coming through the windows?
My God.
By the way,
That's like their go-to thing now when they're hammered.
Yeah.
Wait, is Stassi in on that now too? I know. Brittany and Katie do it every time.
They
And
were
like
at Stassi's, I think. Yeah, and one time I was coming home from getting groceries.
Yeah.
And as I was pulling in, I heard Moana like blaring out of the window, and I texted them. I was like, "Hey, it sounds like things are popping at 6 p.m. That's great. I'm glad you guys are having fun. God bless and everything." Yeah.
They come in, they'll come in any time of the night, 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh, sure, yeah,
and
yeah.
They're a force to be reckoned with, and it's like one of the first things they put on. Then they transition into some more contemporary stuff, maybe a little hip hop, R&B, some electronic.
Sure, but there's definitely a swath
Top
of
40.
Disney.
Oh, always. They open with Disney almost every time.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember being, I was like, okay, cool, you guys are doing that thing. Maybe I'll go. But then they played Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
The Elton tune. So I was like, oh, okay.
Katie just informed me it's out of the vault. Apparently Disney puts movies in vault.
That's right, they do.
For periods of time where you can't buy or rent it.
That's right, to increase the appetite for them. Yeah.
So plug-in.
Yeah, Lion King live action remake is coming out.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I want to see it on Broadway. Maybe like a nice little meal at Applebee's, and then go check out
yeah, that's
Lion
right.
King on Broadway.
Manhattan Applebee's, something
I heard
like
it's
that.
the shit.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting with you as well.
It's always nice chatting with you.
Same here.
You got a great voice.
You as well. It's been a pleasure listening over the headphones.
All right, thanks, Greg. Thanks, guys.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PumpRulesPod, or go to PumpRulesPodcast.com for more information. Email PumpRulesPodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at Facebook.com/PumpRulesPodcast. Thanks for listening and see you next time.